Hello, it is Future Sarah here, editing my video, thinking, why am I such an idiot? Because the entire time throughout this video, I don't know if it's going to bother anyone else, but it bothers me. All I can hear is my fish tank in the background. Like, so, pre-warning, if you're going to watch this video, just make sure that you've already peed, because you're going to need to pee in the middle of it, because all it is tinkle, tinkle, tinkle of the water, like, dripping. It sounds like rain noise in the background. And I'm not skilled enough at editing to remove that. So, if that annoys you, I'm sorry. I am sorry. But yeah, I'll make sure to get that shit sorted for next time. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the video nonetheless. Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who are new here, I'm Sarah Dawson, and for those of you who are returning subscribers, thank you for coming back and being a part of my family. I love you all very much. So, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, welcome to 2024, here we are. Today's video is going to be my 2023 Choice Awards. I'm then going to be discussing my reading goals for this year, 2024, as well as my plan of attack on how to go about what to read as an indecisive bitch. Yeah, so that's the plan for this video. If that sounds interesting to you, keep watching, we're going to get into it. If it doesn't sound interesting to you, that's okay. I'll see you next time. Anyway, let's get on with the video. So, 2023 was not by any means a huge reading year for me. I had a lot going on in 2023. It was a bit chaotic. I have really delved into reading and fantasy and romance and all different kinds of genre, as well as just like reading TikTok, reading YouTube, and just the reading community as a whole towards the last like 4 months of the year. So my reading goal for 2024 this year is going to be based on the amount of books that I read in the last 4 months of 2023. So in the entire year of 2023, I read 18 books, which is not a lot by any means, but it's also, you know, it is what it is. But out of those 18 books, I read 14 of them in the last 4 months of 2024. So on average, that means I read about 3.5 books per month. So if I, on average, in the last 4 months have read 3.5 books, then in 2024, I'm going to challenge myself to be reading 3.5 books per month for 12 months. So roughly that estimates about 42 books. So if I can get through 42 books this year, I will be absolutely stoked. We will see how we go. But yeah, so my current reading goal for 2024 is 42 books. I have a plan on how to achieve it. I am not going to rush through books in order to achieve it, because I don't like the idea of just reading for the sake of reading. I still like to read for enjoyment, which is why I based my reading goal off just the average amount of books I read this year without pushing it. And yeah, so 42 books this year. In 2024, I plan to read 42 books. That's my goal. Wish me luck. We'll see how we go. So in terms of how I plan to decide what to read, I have decided that I'm going to go month on, month off between fantasy and romance, because I've learnt from the last couple months that reading too much fantasy puts me in high stress and I can't tap out. So if I read too much fantasy, I get put on high alert at all times. So I'm going to be doing a month of fantasy and then a month of romance. Romance, while there's, you know, plot twists and this kind of stuff, it's usually much less high stakes than a fantasy book. I'm going to be doing month on fantasy and then a month of romance. That is my plan for 2024. I will be starting this month, January. I've already started. I am doing my reread of Throne of Glass. I'm very excited to do this because when I read Throne of Glass, it was maybe 2017. I read Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and Heir of Fire. That's it. And then I stopped. So I'm reading them for the first time as much as I'm rereading them, because it was 2017, so that was what, 7 years ago now? I don't know, I can't math. But whatever that long, it's been 7 years-ish, and I only read the first 3 books. So the plan for January is to start my reread of Throne of Glass. I'm going to be reading them in order of Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, then Assassin's Blade, and then Heir of Fire. So my plan is to be at least partway through Heir of Fire by the end of January. I'm not 100% sure if I'll make it there. I might do the first 3 and see how I go from there. But I'm really excited to read all the books. I own them all. I plan to do a tandem read for Empire Storm and Tower of Dawn. I'm really excited about that. I've got all my pages printed from Pinterest. If you have any tips and tricks on how you did your tandem read, or if you did a tandem read and wish you'd done it a different way, please let me know in the comments below, because I'm excited. I've never tandem read anything before in my life. But yeah, so that's the plan for January, is Throne of Glass. Then, moving on to the other months, I have another plan for those, because I don't like making decisions. So for Christmas this year, I got quite a few books. If you go onto my TikTok, you can see, I think I got maybe 7 or 8 books. So my physical TBR has gotten quite large. Now I know some people have these insane physical TBRs that are like hundreds of books long. That overwhelms me, so no, I don't have 100 long physical TBR. I have like about, 120 books altogether, but I have read most of them. So I currently have about 28 books in my physical TBR. So that kind of overwhelms me a little bit, especially considering some of them are books that I bought like years ago and just never got around to reading. So a lot of them are like YA and stuff that I don't like tend to read so much these days. So instead of them just consistently being left on my bookshelf and me avoiding them, and especially because a lot of the times I'll avoid a book and then when I finally pick it up, it's like something that I love dearly now, like ACTA. Took me so long to pick it up off my bookshelf, and then eventually I just bit the bullet and did it, and now it's like one of the best things I've ever read. So my plan of attack for this year, in order to read through my physical TBR, is I have made notes. I have made a lucky dip. So the pink is romance / YA romance, and the blue is fantasy / YA fantasy / romantasy. It's just the way that I've genre'd them on my bookshelf. If you classify some of these books into different genres, that's on you. This is just my opinion. So the plan of attack is, obviously January, I'm going to be doing Throne of Glass, reading through however much of that as I can. Then starting February, I'm going to be picking 3 books out of my little jar, just at random. I'm going to tip them all on the floor, pick 3 out, and then they will be what I will read in February for my romance month. And then again in March, I'll be continuing with Throne of Glass, however far through it I can get in that month, and then again we'll pick the romances out, and then from there, I'm assuming I'll probably have read Throne of Glass maybe in 2 months, hopefully. From there, it'll just be a continuation of me tipping and picking. Obviously, if there's a book that I buy in the meantime that's like super hyped on TikTok, or something that I really, really want to read, and I'm actually not going to like the books that I've picked out purely because I really want to read this new book, I will add that in there and I will read that instead, because I'm not going to be limiting myself because of this. You know what I mean? I don't want to miss out on enjoying a book because I've been like, oh no, I have to read the ones I pulled out. It's not going to be that strict. It's just my plan to get through my physical TBR. So that's the plan on how I'm going to be choosing my books throughout the year, or until they run out, because I hate making decisions, and at least that makes a decision for me. We had to stop for a quick hydration break. So now that we've gone through my 2024 reading goals, my 2024 plan of attack for the year, I'm going to really quickly run through every book that I read this year, giving only a yes, a no, or a maybe. Most of them are at least going to be yeses or maybes, because pretty much everything I read this year was relatively good. We're going to go from the books that I read first to the books that I read last. Yes, if you like crying. Yes, if you like crying. No. Maybe. Yes, if you want to read the other ones. Yes. Yes. You won't like it, but yes. Absolutely 100%, million times yes. That is why you read that one. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Not necessary, but yes. 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 Maybe. Leaning towards yes. 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 Maybe. Maybe. Yes. This is my Roman Empire. Yes. Plus, obviously, the first book in this series, which I don't own physically, I have it on my Kindle, The Things We Never Got Over. Yes. 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 So that is the 18 books that I read in 2023 and how I felt about them really, really briefly. If you want more detailed discussions on some of those books, I have certain ones on my YouTube, some of them are on my TikTok. But yeah, so that's that. Now, let's get into the Choice Awards, shall we? Okay, so the book that made me cry the most this year. I don't know if you can take a guess. I don't know if this will shock you, because if you've been on my TikTok, I cry a lot. I cry quite a bit. Now, this book, despite what I just said before, this is the book that made me cry the most. Like, the most physical tears. If I caught them all in a bucket and measured them, this gave me the most tears. 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. Now, yes, I gave this a maybe, because I don't know if it's worth it. It was a lot of the same conversation over and over again, in my opinion. Yeah. So, I stand by my maybe. It also did make me cry the most. And the ending was horrible. I hated the end. If the last, I think it's maybe the last chapter, was removed, maybe this would have been a yes. But it just, on top of everything, and then that chapter, it's definitely a maybe. Give it a go. This was the book, 2023 book that made me cry the most. 2023's book that I read the fastest goes to A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I could not put this book down. I could not think about anything else. I could do nothing but read this book, but I read this book basically in one sitting. So this is the book that got my book that I read the fastest in 2023. The book that took me the longest to get through by no fault of its own, and through nothing to do with the plot or being boring, but purely to do with the fact that this is a thick bitch. Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. Absolutely adored this book. Loved every minute of it. This book took me the longest to get through purely because it's just a thick boy. So this was my book of 2023 that took me the longest to get through. The book of 2023 that almost made me wish that I was somebody who DNF'd books. I have a physical incapability to DNF books, because then they sit on my shelf and haunt me. So I can't DNF them, but the book that made me wish I could. This may be controversial. This is Twisted Love by Anna Huang. I know people will be like, read the others, read the others. I own Twisted Games. I will get to it. It's in my little thing. Eventually I'll pull it out of the little jar. But this book, I felt nothing. Like, I read this, I didn't feel happy, I didn't feel angry, I wasn't in, like, the characters. I just didn't give a, like, I just didn't care about this book or these characters. It felt like that's how angry it makes me. It felt like porn with a storyline attached, rather than a story with smut in it. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, this is the book that made me wish I DNF'd books in 2023. My favorite romance book of 2023 is undoubtedly The Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. I read all three of these books this year. I don't know when they were initially released, but I read all three of them this year. The Things We Never Got Over, The Things We Hide from the Light, and The Things We Left Behind. This one is undoubtedly my favorite. Keeping in mind, I read The Things We Never Got Over a while ago, and when I did read it, I absolutely loved it, but this is the most fresh in my mind, so I'm probably going to say this was my favorite. The tension, the enemies to lovers, the finally understanding the entirety of their story after reading two other books. So this is an interconnected standalone series. This one follows Lucian and Salome. I just loved it. I adored it. I love Lucian. Somebody package me one and send him to me because I need him. Thank you. My favorite fantasy, romantasy read of this year is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I love this book. I love this book. I love Rhysand. I would walk through fire for this man and be happy about it and thank him at the end. Like, there's some kind of crack in this book. I talk about it all the time. Like, I said before that Simple Wild is my Roman Empire, which it is. But if you're gonna talk fantasy, if you're gonna talk Bat Boys, if you're gonna talk Shadow Daddies, this is my Roman Empire. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm making this video right now. This motherfucking book. So if you like me and you like watching my videos, you should be sending Sarah J Maas a thank you gift, because she's the reason I'm here right now. Because I've read my whole life, but this did me in. And my overall favorite read of 2023, of course, nobody's gonna be surprised, has to go to A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas. Because again, like I just said, we wouldn't be here without it. If you do anything for yourself in 2024, it is read these books. Read these books, okay? Now, this one, you're gonna hate it. Or you might even like it, but you're gonna struggle. It's the slowest, it's the worst. You don't read this to enjoy this. You read this for this. Anyway, I've talked about this enough on my channel. Just read this book. If you're gonna do yourself a favor in 2024, that's what I'm telling you, read that book. And your life will be better because of it. So yeah, that's my 2023 Choice Awards. Out of the 18 books that I read this year, they're the Choice Awards that I've given out. That's my feelings, they're my opinions. Yeah. So that is my 2024 reading goal, my 2024 plan of attack for reading, my 2023 Choice Awards, and the only other thing that I'm going to add for you in this video is that my other goal that I'm setting for myself this year is to have at least 2 videos a month. 2 videos a month. Shouldn't be too hard. I post on my TikTok every single day. If you like acting and you like people using sounds and relating them back to books, that's what I do on my TikTok. If you don't like that, that's fine. Not for you. I understand. But this is where I'm going to in-depth review books. This is my, my channel where I'm going to post little cringy vlogs and other stuff that I do. So if that's something that you like, there will be 2 videos a month this year. 1 at minimum, because I will do my reading recap every month. So there will be minimum 1 video a month, but I'm trying to aim for 2. Wish me luck. 2 videos a month, there's only 24 videos this year. It's not that hard. But yeah, that is everything that I wanted to talk about in this video. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you have any comments on any of the books or you disagree with me at all, I would love to have a discussion with you in the comments below. So leave a comment about it, let me know your thoughts, opinions. If you're gonna be mean, go somewhere else. We're not about it here. Everybody's allowed to have their opinion, everybody's allowed to have their voice, everybody's allowed to think different things. That is okay, but you do not go about it in a mean way. And yeah, that's just how we live on this channel. So yeah, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell, and I will see you with another video later in the month, hopefully. Bye, I love you.